The whistle blew and everyone let loose. Players, ex-players, experts, all of them turned savage. And what came next? Nobody saw it coming. For weeks, fans cried about a rigged game and the referee working for Argentina. So you'd think England's pain would spark 1,000 angry videos aimed at FIFA. But that's not what happened. Instead, the biggest names in football watched the same game and landed on the same answer. England beat themselves. And the man they blamed wasn't the referee. He was standing right there in England's own dugout. Let's break down exactly what they said, because everyone agrees on this one. Quick recap. England led 1-0 thanks to Anthony Gordon in the 55th minute. They were 30 minutes from their first World Cup final since 1966. Then Thomas Tuchel started making changes. Attackers came off, defenders came on. England dropped deep into their own box. Messi set up 2 goals late on. Enzo Fernandez struck a screamer. Then Lautaro Martinez headed home the winner. Final score, 2-1. After Gordon's goal, England barely touched the ball, just 12% possession, and almost nobody thinks that was bad luck. They think it was a choice, and the wrong one. Yes, the game was a battle. The first 30 minutes had 11 fouls and 0 shots. Fans want to blame the ref for letting things get rough. But when the experts broke down the loss, they didn't point at the referee. They pointed at the subs. Here's exactly what happened. With England ahead and Argentina rattled, Tuchel pulled off Gordon, the goal scorer, plus Reece James and Declan Rice. On came 3 defenders, Ezri Konsa, Dan Burn, and Nico O'Reilly. At one point, England had 6 defenders on the field. Ivan Toney and Marcus Rashford, the attackers, didn't come on until the 95th minute. By then, Argentina had already scored twice. England spent their most dangerous 30 minutes throwing away their attack, and only brought it back when the game was already lost. Wayne Rooney. England crumbled. It started from the manager and the decisions he made. His point cut deep. The second 3 defenders come on at 1-0, attacking players stop believing. They stop thinking about winning. They start thinking about just surviving. Wayne Rooney, a top manager, counteracts a surge by going more front-footed, not by burrowing deeper. And this wasn't just English anger. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They were the better team, but tactics let them down. Even Harry Kane, England's captain and top scorer, stood there and told the truth. Harry Kane, we seem to just try and hold on, which at this level is simply not enough. When your own captain says the plan was just hold on, you know the defense already broke. And the biggest theme wasn't tactics at all, it was courage, or the lack of it. Michael Owen, watch Spain at 1-0. That's courage, that's bravery. Now watch England. Ask yourself, what's the difference? Michael Owen. England were arguably the better team, but deserved to lose. It could even have been 4-1. Bringing on 3 defenders while a goal to the good sends an unmistakable message of fear. Spain's legend Iker Casillas didn't hold back either. He called England's retreat cowardly. His point? Stay locked in your own box and the result writes itself. Micah Richards. When you score, you go for the second. By dropping deep, England made it too easy for Argentina in that second half. English and Spanish legends kept saying the same thing. Real bravery means controlling the ball under pressure, not booting it 40 yards and hoping for the best. Then there's the Messi problem, and nobody nailed it better than Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker. If your entire plan is to sit everyone deep, why on earth would you do that against the greatest player who has ever lived and then not even assign anyone to mark him? That was Lineker's plea. Messi had so much room, and that's exactly what happened. England sat back and gave him his favorite spot, just outside the box. He whipped in cross after cross after cross. Both goals came from that exact space. You cannot design a plan more perfectly suited to Messi's strengths if you tried, and England handed it to him gift-wrapped. Here's where it gets really interesting. The smartest voices didn't just say Tuchel got it wrong, they explained exactly why this always goes wrong. Thierry Henry said England were actually about to bring on Rashford to push forward. Then Gordon scored and Tuchel scrapped the plan. He switched to a back 5 way too early, right when England had control. Look at the best club managers, he said. Mikel Arteta won a Premier League title, winning 14 games by just 1 goal. He never ripped up his shape. He trusted his players to keep the ball, because if you have the ball, the other team can't score. Tuchel did the total opposite. Cesc Fabregas, now a manager himself, explained the mental trap perfectly. The instant a striker is replaced by a defender, the whole mindset flips to we have to sit back. You then invite pressure, crosses, rebounds, and set pieces. 80 to 90% of the time, it backfires. This isn't hindsight, it's a known mistake, and Tuchel walked straight into it. But it wasn't all on him. Gary Neville pointed out a deeper issue. Declan Rice had been struggling physically all tournament. He's not been right since day one, Neville said. Add a tired squad plus Tuchel leaving Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, and Eberechi Eze on the bench, and you get the full collapse. So it's more than one bad sub, but every path still leads back to the dugout. And against all this noise, one man showed zero regret. Tuchel himself. He defended the retreat. He said England went to a back five because gaps were already opening up. Argentina were winning every header and crossing nonstop. He said he was just trying to plug the holes. He half-owned the mistake, saying the coach carries the blame. But he also shrugged, saying plenty of coaches know better after the final whistle. And here's the twist. His bosses are backing him. FA chief Mark Bullingham publicly said, "We have a manager who we think is doing a really good job." Tuchel is expected to stay all the way through to the home Euros in 2028. No matter what football fans think, he isn't going anywhere. And that's huge because after a loss this painful, people expected his job to be on the line. It won't be. Tuchel signed an extension before the tournament, with performance clauses. Not an easy exit deal. Inside the camp, people believe bad luck and a brutal schedule hurt him more than bad planning did. The FA points to the good environment he's built. Players praise him. Fans have warmed to him. A shock loss to DR Congo in the round of 32 might have ended him, but reaching the semifinal through a brutal path actually protected him. So the man everyone tore apart on Wednesday night will lead England out at their home Euros. Make of that what you will. Now, here's a wiser point buried under all the noise. Was Tuchel wrong? Yes, almost certainly. Even he half admits it. But England's biggest problem might not be one tactic. It might be the noise itself. The second they lose, the blame machine fires up. Ex-players turn into headline makers. TV debates turn into social media pylons. And the actual football gets buried before anyone's even calmly watched it back. England have repeated this cycle for decades. It might be doing just as much damage as any bad tactic. And some of it turned ugly. Michael Owen. There should be no such thing as foreign coaches in international football. When criticism turns into blaming a man for his passport, you've stopped talking football. You're just hunting for someone to burn. That's the real trap England keep falling into, tournament after tournament. They're not just playing 11 opponents, they're playing the wave of anger and blame they create around themselves. Before anyone rewatches the game calmly, the story's already set. The villain's already picked. The takes are already flying. Every ex-player becomes a pundit. Every pundit becomes a headline. And that pressure seems to crush the next group of players before they even step onto the pitch, already bracing for blame instead of hungry to win. Tuchel himself once said it best about an old England team. They seem more scared of losing than excited to win. On Wednesday, in his own dugout, he watched that same fear play out. Then he became the next name fed to the very machine he'd called out. And here's what everyone screaming about England forgot. Argentina were brilliant. Buried under all the England drama is this. It was Argentina's cleanest, most disciplined performance of the whole knockout stage. Messi set up both goals, breaking the World Cup assist record. This was Argentina's 11th goal after the 75th minute this tournament alone. That's not a team collapsing. That's a team with a killer instinct. Argentina keep turning falling behind into a habit, now heading to their second straight final. Scaloni put it simply. There was blood in the water and we went for it. England opened the door, but Argentina didn't just stumble through it. They kicked it clean off its hinges. And this wasn't a one-time thing. That's what makes it scary. It's Argentina's second straight knockout win after trailing late following their escape against Egypt, and the third straight game where they conceded first and still won. Scaloni explained why. This team plays its best when everything's against it. He said they play like 7 or 8-year-olds, fearless, never worried about missing. He joked that if the Egypt comeback was epic, this one was epic squared. That's a scary mindset to carry into a final. Whatever help the refs may or may not have given Argentina this tournament, the mental toughness they showed in Atlanta was all their own, and that's the scariest thing about them heading into Sunday. For once, football's biggest voices agree on one thing. Tuchel got the biggest call of his England career wrong. England blew a winning position against the world champions, and no referee, no VAR, no FIFA conspiracy explains it. They did this to themselves. And the harsh truth? Nothing changes. Tuchel stays, the FA stands firm, the pundits move on to the next drama, and England will carry this same fight, courage versus caution, into the next tournament, and probably the one after that. Will they ever actually learn? That's the only question left. Argentina couldn't care less. They're too busy prepping for a World Cup final. Do you think the pundits are right to slam Tuchel, or has this gone too far? Drop your take below, and stick around. Argentina versus Spain on Sunday is the final we've been building toward all tournament.